Hey folks, welcome back to DIY and That. Due to the overwhelming response to our Halloween lawn decoration video, we're going to make a video about creating a Peanuts themed Christmas lawn display. What we're going to have is Snoopy's doghouse as shown here with Snoopy and Woodstock on top of it. And then we're going to put some of the other Peanuts characters in as well. We're not going to do all the ones shown here. We're going to do Charlie Brown, Lucy, Linus, and Sally, which is Charlie Brown's little sister. So let's get started. So we're going to make templates of the characters we want to cut out. I'm going to start with Snoopy. I printed this off the internet, and I've already determined I would like excuse me. I've already determined I would like Snoopy to be 12 inches tall. So based on that measurement, I can measure the other thing. I can measure the other parts of his body here and determine how large they should be. At this point, I tried to explain how I got the dimensions for Snoopy, and it essentially ended up being an incomprehensible pile of shite. So here's the dimensions I ended up with. He was 17 inches long. His nose was 8 inches from the back of his head to the tip of it. The ear hung down 8 inches. The belly was 6 inches from the back to the top. And his feet were 7 inches from the back to the top. So use those dimensions and you'll be in good shape. So let's draw that out and see what it looks like. If that doesn't look good, we'll make any kind of adjustments that we need to make. Look bad. I'm going to do... Now you might be able to get plans for this someplace and have this be a little more precise, but I think we'll be just fine here. So here I just drew it out. I sketched it and then adjusted it the way I wanted it. And basically came out to the dimensions I just told you. And then I did the same with the other characters. Unfortunately, I lost some footage, so you can't see what I did there, but the same process. I just kept sketching it until I was happy with it, and then I cut them out. I also drew in the lines for the details, such as his arms, as I'm showing here, his eyes, etc. They're not necessary in order to cut the outline out of the plywood, but it might come in handy when I do the painting, and it also helped me to guarantee that the proportions were correct. As I mentioned, I had some footage of cutting out the templates, but I lost it. So all I have is these pictures of what they came out as, but at least they give you some idea of what they look like. Let's take a look at the tools we need for the project. Don't need a lot. I need a saber saw, or what some people call a jigsaw, some kind of straight edge. I'm using a 4-foot level here, but you can use a yardstick or just a piece of wood or chalk line if that's what you have. You need a hammer to drive the stakes into the ground that are going to hold up the figures, a pencil of course, and some sandpaper. If you have a file or a rasp, that can help you sand off the edges of some of the tight corners on the figures. Makes it a little bit easier than the sandpaper. And a circular saw is helpful, but not necessary. Let's see how much plywood we need to do the Snoopy Doghouse Christmas project. We know we need 4x4 for the doghouse, so that's 48 by 48. We have 4 characters, and we're planning on them being about 3 feet high, 36 inches, and 16 inches wide. Snoopy, with the ear hanging down, he's 17 by 17. We could get away with 17 by 10 and cut the ear out of scrap and just attach it, so we'll have to see how we make out. And Woodstock is about 10 by 7. And then we have a few odds and ends that decorate the doghouse. We'll see if we can get that out of whatever scrap is left. So we are going to have to use half a sheet for the doghouse. So that would leave us 4 feet. That would get, the characters are 16 inches wide. So 3 times 16 is 48. So we can get 3 characters out of that chunk. And what do we got left down here? We got a 12-inch by 48. So let's leave that for the moment. We may use that for wood stock, but I'm not sure yet. So let's take a look at the, we're going to need more than 1 sheet, obviously. So let's try another one. We're going to need 1 more character. So that's 16 and 36. And we didn't get Snoopy in yet. He's 17 by 17. So that's about half of that. So, oops. So that's a character. This is Snoopy. And that's 17, so that totaled up is 33. Okay, and half a sheet would be right there. So if we did a sheet and a half, we'd have enough for the whole thing, and we'd have plenty left over to do wood stock and those decorative items on Snoopy's doghouse. There's a couple of stars and a couple of light-shaped things and a weather vane. So I'm going to say a sheet and a half will do it. We want 1.5 sheets of 1/2-inch plywood, exterior grade, with 1 B face and 1 C face, or 1 A and 1 B if that's what they have. So that'll do that. In addition to the plywood, we're going to need 3 2x4s, 8 feet long. One of them will be cut up to make the stakes. The other 2 will be used to make the supports to hold up the doghouse itself. We're going to need 3.5-inch screws, about 12 of those, to put the supports together. 1.5-inch screws, about 6 of those or so, to attach the doghouse to the supports. Some yellow exterior glue, 1 pint, so 1 squeeze bottle is plenty. And we'll need a string of C9 Christmas lights, string of 25, just one of those. I'm going to use a old-fashioned incandescent string, but you can use an LED string if you want to. For paint, we want to use latex exterior semi-gloss. These are quart cans, and I got these at Home Depot, and it's the Bear brand. 2 quarts of primer will do it. 1 quart of bright white, that's just generic color. And then I got a quart of black paint. The color was limousine leather. Now for the remaining colors, rather than buy colors mixed to each particular thing that we need, I bought the 3 primary colors, yellow, blue, and red. And what you see on the screen is the shades that they were selling. And I can mix them with the black and white together and make any color we want. So that was cheaper than having to buy 1 quart of each different thing. On part 2, we will cut out the plywood, do the painting, assemble the supports for the doghouse, and then put it up in the yard. So thanks for watching. See you for part 2.